You ever wonder, how long does it actually take for a woman to develop feelings? A week? A month? Maybe love at first sight is real? Or is it all just a game of luck? The truth is, there's no magic number, no secret formula. But feelings, they don't just happen. They follow a pattern. And once you see that pattern, you'll stop guessing. You'll know. But here's where most guys get it wrong. They think attraction means instant connection, that a spark is all it takes. But a spark is just that, a flicker. It's what happens after that truly matters. And this is where Stoicism gives you an edge. When you understand the real way feelings develop, you stop chasing. You stop overthinking. You become the kind of man she naturally gravitates toward, not because you're trying to impress her, but because of who you are. So today we're breaking it all down. The stages of attraction, the subtle shifts that mean she's really feeling something, and how a Stoic mindset makes all the difference. By the end of this, you won't be stuck in your head wondering if she's catching feelings. You'll see the signs, you'll understand them, and most importantly, you'll know exactly what to do. Let's dive in. Attraction? That's instant. It's that quick moment when she notices you from across the room, the way you walk in with confidence, the calm energy you carry, or how you seem completely unbothered, even in a room full of chaos. Maybe it's your voice, your posture, or just the way you look her in the eyes without flinching. And yeah, that spark can feel powerful. But here's where a lot of guys get it wrong. They think that spark means something more. They believe that attraction equals an emotional connection. But it doesn't. See, attraction is like a flicker of light. It catches her attention, sure, but it doesn't capture her heart. It's exciting in the moment, but it's not enough to build something real. Feelings, the kind that make her think about you when you're not around, those take time. They're built slowly, layer by layer, through trust, respect, and emotional safety. They don't show up overnight, and they're not the result of one grand gesture. You can't buy her feelings with expensive gifts or sweep her off her feet with one perfect date. It doesn't work like that. Imagine attraction as the spark that lights a fire. But for that fire to actually burn, it needs fuel. And what's the fuel? Consistency, depth, repeated exposure to the real you. She needs to see that you're not just putting on a show, that your confidence isn't fragile, and that you're steady, not just when things are easy, but especially when they're not. That's what builds feelings. A Stoic man gets this. He doesn't get swept up in the rush of early attraction, and he doesn't get frustrated when things don't move as fast as he wants. He's not sitting there overanalyzing every text or wondering why she hasn't fallen head over heels yet. He embraces the process. He focuses on what he can control: his behavior, his emotional discipline, his ability to stay present without being needy or overbearing. He doesn't try to manipulate her emotions or force the connection to speed up. He just is. He lives in a way that naturally draws her in over time. Because while a woman might be intrigued by a man's charm at first, she falls for his character. She falls for the guy who's consistent, who's stable, who doesn't get rattled when things don't go his way. If you're only focused on making her like you quickly, you're probably going to lose her just as fast. But if you embody patience, self-respect, and emotional stability, she'll start to see you as something rare. Someone she can count on. Someone who's not just there for the thrill of the moment, but for the long haul. So instead of asking, how long will it take for her to develop feelings? Ask yourself, am I the kind of man she would want to develop feelings for? Because when you focus on being that kind of man, patient, grounded, and true to yourself, Time takes care of the rest. The spark is there. You've caught her attention. But here's the thing. Attraction is just the beginning. Once that initial excitement settles, something else kicks in. Curiosity. She starts to wonder, who is this guy really? It's no longer just about how you look or how confident you seemed in that first interaction. Now, she's paying attention to the details. She's watching how you treat other people, how you carry yourself when no one's looking, how you respond when things don't go your way. Are you the same calm, confident guy when life throws you a curveball? Or was that just an act? This is where most men slip up. They think the job is done once they've sparked that initial attraction, but it's not. Attraction might open the door, but consistency is what keeps it open. If you start to crumble under pressure, if you're easily rattled by small challenges, or worse, if you start chasing her approval, constantly needing validation, she'll pick up on it. And trust me, she'll lose interest just as quickly as she found it. Because women are intuitive. They can sense when your confidence is genuine and when it's just a performance. But a Stoic man? He's different. He doesn't waver. He's not trying to impress her with big gestures or over-the-top compliments. He's not blowing up her phone, trying to force conversations or over-explain himself. He's steady, grounded, unbothered by the ups and downs because his sense of worth doesn't hinge on whether or not she likes him back. He's not in a rush to lock things down because he understands that feelings, especially the real ones, take time to grow. His calm consistency creates an irresistible pull, not because he's playing games, but because he's living with purpose. And that's what makes her feel something deeper. You see, when a woman starts to notice that you're consistent, that you handle life's challenges with grace, that you don't need her validation to feel good about yourself, that's when her curiosity shifts. It's no longer just, who is this guy? It becomes, why do I feel so drawn to him? And that's when feelings start to deepen. Not because you chased her, but because you gave her something real to be curious about. You've sparked her interest, and her curiosity is growing. But here's the thing. Interest isn't enough. For a woman to develop deep feelings, there's something even more important at play. Emotional safety. Attraction might get her attention. Curiosity might keep her watching. But emotional safety? That's what makes her stay. It's the difference between a passing connection and something real. Because no matter how confident, charming, or intriguing you are, if she doesn't feel safe being herself around you, her guard's going to stay up. And without emotional safety, feelings can't take root. Now, emotional safety doesn't mean you have to fix her problems or play therapist. It's not about rushing in every time she feels down or trying to solve everything for her. It's about something much simpler, but much more powerful. It's about being consistent, reliable, steady. It's showing her that no matter what's going on, whether life is smooth or chaotic, you're the same grounded man she can trust. If you're calm and understanding one day, but reactive, insecure, or distant the next, she's going to hesitate. She'll start wondering, can I really trust him with my emotions? Or is this just a phase for him? And here's where Stoicism becomes your greatest asset. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Think about that for a second. It means that the chaos around you isn't what shakes you. It's how you choose to react to it. And a woman picks up on that. She's looking to see if you're easily rattled, if you let small things throw you off balance, or if you stay calm no matter what. When she sees that your confidence isn't fragile, that your mood isn't dictated by every little inconvenience, that's when she starts to trust you. That's when she feels safe enough to open up. This is something important you need to remember. A woman doesn't just want a man who looks good on paper. She wants someone who can handle life's storms without falling apart. Someone who doesn't let fleeting emotions control him. When she sees that kind of emotional resilience in you, she starts to relax. She realizes, I can be myself around him. I don't have to hide. I don't have to pretend. And that's when feelings begin to grow. Not just surface-level attraction, but something deeper, something lasting. So if you want to unlock her heart, forget about trying to impress her with grand gestures or smooth lines. Focus on creating a space where she feels safe emotionally. Be steady, be consistent. Be the man who doesn't get shaken by every little thing. Because when she feels safe with you, that's when real connection happens. And that's when her feelings start to move from curiosity to something much more. Before we dive into lesson number 4, we'd like to take a moment to thank you for staying with us halfway through this video journey. In every moment, we can learn and grow. And the fact that you are here listening and reflecting with us is a tremendous gift that I cherish every minute. To help us spread these valuable lessons to even more people, please hit the like and share buttons for this video. Each share is a small but meaningful act, much like the timeless lessons Stoicism offers. Let's continue exploring and embracing these everlasting pieces of wisdom together. Once again, thank you for your continued support. You've sparked her interest, piqued her curiosity, and made her feel emotionally safe. But here's where many men stumble. They try to rush the process. They think that just because things are going well, trust will fall into place automatically. But it doesn't work like that. Attraction? That happens fast. A glance, a conversation, a spark of chemistry, that can all happen in a moment. But trust is slow. It's something you earn over time through small as consistent actions that show her who you really are. A woman may be drawn to your energy at first. She might be excited by your confidence, intrigued by your calm presence. But make no mistake, she's watching. She's observing not just how you treat her, but how you handle yourself when no one's around. She's looking to see if you're the same man today as you were last week. Do your actions align with your words? Are you steady? Or do you change depending on the situation? Because if you say one thing and do another, if you're confident one day but insecure the next, that inconsistency will raise red flags. She won't feel safe enough to let her emotions deepen if she's constantly second-guessing who you really are. But if you show up consistently, if your confidence isn't just an act, if your presence is steady even when life throws challenges your way, she'll start to see you differently. She'll begin to view you as someone she can rely on. And that's when trust starts to take root. Trust isn't about grand gestures or dramatic moments. It's built in the quiet, everyday things. The way you follow through on your word. The way you handle setbacks without losing your cool. The way you stay true to yourself no matter what. A Stoic man understands this. He knows that trust isn't something you can demand or rush. It's something you cultivate through integrity and patience. As much as you might want to speed things up, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. Our own actions, our own character. You can't control how fast a woman trusts you, but you can control how you show up. And when you consistently show up as a man of integrity, when your actions speak louder than your words, trust will naturally follow. So don't rush it. Don't get frustrated if things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like. Trust takes time, and that's a good thing. Because anything worth having, real connection, deep feelings, lasting love, doesn't happen overnight. It's built moment by moment through consistency, patience, and authenticity. And when she sees that you're not just a man she can be attracted to, but a man she can truly trust, that's when her feelings move from the surface to something real. You've built attraction, sparked her curiosity, created emotional safety, and started earning her trust. And that's where a lot of guys unknowingly sabotage the connection. They think, okay, things are going well, so I need to stay in constant contact to keep this going. They text all day, they plan back-to-back hangouts, they make themselves always available. And paradox here is, sometimes the biggest accelerator of feelings is actually distance. If a woman enjoys your presence but doesn't miss you when you're gone, her feelings won't deepen. It's in those quiet moments when you're not around that she starts to reflect on how she feels about you. If she finds herself thinking about you, wondering what you're doing, replaying your conversations in her head, that's when emotions start to take root. But if you're constantly in her face, giving her no time to breathe, that emotional space never forms. And without that space, feelings can't grow. Think of it like this. What's your favorite song? The one that used to give you chills every time you heard it. But if you listen to it on repeat, day after day, it starts to lose that spark. It becomes familiar, predictable, even a little boring. But if you don't hear it for a while, and then one day it plays out of nowhere, it hits differently. You appreciate it more. The same principle applies to attraction. People don't value what's always readily available. We crave what we have to wonder about, what we can't have all the time. A lot of men fall into the trap of thinking, if I give her more attention, she'll like me more. But it doesn't work like that. Feelings need room to grow. A woman needs time to process how she feels about you, to wonder about you, to miss you. If you're always texting, always calling, always planning the next date, she doesn't get the chance to sit with her own emotions. And without that, the connection stalls, or worse, it fizzles out. This is where the Stoic mindset makes all the difference. A Stoic man doesn't chase. He doesn't flood her with attention out of fear that she might lose interest. He understands the power of patience and detachment. He gives her space, not because he's playing games, but because he's secure enough to let things unfold naturally. He remains centered, knowing that if the connection is real, it will flourish in its own time. And if it doesn't, he lets it go, without resentment, without overthinking. When you're confident in yourself, you don't fear the distance. You trust that if you're the kind of man worth missing, she will miss you. And if she doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. So instead of smothering the connection with constant attention, give it room to breathe. Let her feel your absence. Because when she realizes that life feels better with you in it, that's when her feelings move from curiosity to something much deeper. Now here's where things start to shift. You've sparked her interest, given her space to miss you, and she's starting to feel that pull. And when a woman begins developing feelings, you'll notice subtle changes. She'll start to invest in small ways. Maybe she checks in to see how your day is going, sends you a meme that reminded her of you, or makes time in her schedule to see you. These little gestures might seem small on the surface, but they're actually big signs that she's starting to care. She's showing you that you're on her mind, that you matter to her. But here's where a lot of men mess up. They get too excited. The moment she starts leaning in, they overcompensate. Suddenly they're over-texting, flooding her with compliments, constantly trying to plan the next date. They go from being calm and confident to acting like they've already won the lottery. But here's the problem with that. It feels like you're trying to force something that was naturally growing. And when you try to force a connection, it's like dumping gasoline on a fire. You might think it'll burn brighter, but more often than not, you'll burn it out entirely. See, when a woman starts to invest in you, what she's really doing is feeling out the dynamic. She's seeing if the steady, confident man she was drawn to is still there. If you suddenly shift gears and start chasing, it sends the message that your confidence wasn't real. It was just a front until you got her attention. And nothing cools attraction faster than that. But if you stay consistent, if you keep being the same grounded, calm guy you were from the start, that's when her feelings deepen. A Stoic man understands this instinctively. He doesn't change his rhythm just because she's showing interest. He doesn't start acting differently because now he feels like things are working. No, he stays steady, calm, and composed. The same man he was from the very beginning. And this stability, it's magnetic, because when a woman senses that you don't need her validation, that you're confident in who you are, whether she texts you first or not, it makes her even more drawn to you. It all comes back to that timeless wisdom from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control how fast or how deeply she develops feelings, but you can control your own behavior, your mindset, and how you respond when she starts to show interest. So when she begins investing in you, appreciate it, but don't overplay it. Stay grounded. Let things unfold naturally, because when you maintain that steady presence, you're not just keeping the spark alive, you're giving it room to grow into something real. And that's how you build a connection that lasts. Now, here's something a lot of guys don't see coming. At some point, whether things are going smoothly or just starting to heat up, she's going to test you. Not because she wants to play games or mess with your head, but because she needs to see something important: how secure you really are in yourself. It's not always obvious either. Maybe one day she pulls back a little, becomes a bit distant, or takes longer to reply to your messages. Maybe she casually mentions another guy in conversation, not to make you jealous, but just to see how you'll handle it. Or maybe she challenges something you say, pushing back just a bit to see if you stand your ground or fold under pressure. And here's where many men slip up. They panic. They overthink every little change, wondering, what did I do wrong? They start chasing harder, blowing up her phone, trying to fix the vibe. Or worse, they get defensive, reacting with frustration or jealousy. But that's exactly what she's watching for, because these little moments, they're not random, they're not obstacles, they're opportunities. Opportunities for you to show her just how solid and secure you really are. A weak man crumbles under this kind of pressure. He lets his emotions take over. He might lash out when she pulls back, get insecure when she mentions another guy, or backpedal quickly if she challenges him on something. And when that happens, she sees exactly what she needs to see: that his confidence is fragile and his sense of self is easily shaken. But a Stoic man, he handles it differently. He remains unfazed. He doesn't get rattled because he knows who he is. He doesn't let one distant text or offhand comment define his worth or the relationship. He stays grounded, calm, and composed, no matter what. This is where the wisdom of Seneca hits home. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. These tests, they're the friction. They're the moments that reveal your strength, not just to her, but to yourself. Because the truth is, life will always throw challenges your way in relationships and beyond. It's not about avoiding them, it's about how you respond when they come. So, when you notice her pulling back a little, don't chase. When she mentions another guy, don't flinch. When she challenges your opinion, don't back down just to keep the peace. Stay calm. Stay true to yourself. Let your actions reflect the confidence you carry within, not the need for constant reassurance from her. Because when she sees that you don't crumble under pressure, that you don't need her validation to feel secure, that's when she starts to feel something real. And remember, these tests never really stop. Even in long-term relationships, life will continue to throw curveballs. But the man who can handle those with grace, who doesn't get shaken by every little shift, is the man who earns lasting respect and deep emotional connection. So don't fear the tests, embrace them. They're not just challenges, they're chances to show her and yourself that you're the kind of man who stands strong no matter what. So you've sparked her interest, she's started investing in you, and maybe you've even passed a few of those subtle tests she's thrown your way. Things feel good, but now there's this lingering question in the back of your mind. Is this real? Or is it just a phase? And that's a question every man faces at some point. Remember, not every spark turns into a fire, and not every attraction becomes love. And that's perfectly normal. Sometimes there's instant chemistry, shared laughs, deep conversations, that magnetic pull that makes you think, wow, this could really be something. But as time passes, that initial excitement starts to fade. What once felt like the start of something deep might just settle into, well, nothing more than a fleeting connection. And it's not because you did anything wrong. It's just the unpredictable nature of human emotions. But here's where a lot of men stumble. They try to force it. The moment they sense a woman pulling back or not progressing emotionally, they panic. They start texting more, planning more, trying harder to win her affection. But the truth is, the more you push, the more likely you are to suffocate whatever natural feelings were starting to grow. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom by yanking on its petals. It doesn't work. You end up damaging what could have been something beautiful. A Stoic man knows better. He understands that love isn't something you can manipulate or rush. It either grows organically or it doesn't. And here's the key, he's at peace with either outcome. Because his happiness, his confidence, his sense of self isn't tied to whether or not a woman falls in love with him. He shows up authentically, stays consistent, and lets things unfold naturally. If feelings grow, great. If they don't, that's okay too. Think of it like tending a garden. You plant the seeds, you water them, you give them sunlight. But not every seed is going to bloom. Some were never meant to. And that's not on you. Do you blame the seed? No. You simply move on, knowing you did your part. Feelings are the same. You can't control how or when a woman develops emotions for you. All you can do is show up as your best self and let nature take its course. But how do you know if it's love or just a phase? There are a few signs to look out for. First, consistency over time. Are her actions and emotions stable, or do they fluctuate wildly? Love is steady. A phase is often marked by highs and lows, intense connection 1 minute, cold distance the next. Second, emotional investment. Is she making an effort to be part of your life? Is she curious about your world, your thoughts, your goals? Or does it feel one-sided, like you're the one doing all the work? True feelings come with mutual effort. And third, the depth of your connection. Are your conversations meaningful? Does she open up about her vulnerabilities, her dreams, her fears? Or does everything stay on the surface? If you notice that things aren't deepening, don't rush to fix it. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you can make her feel something. Instead, embrace the Stoic principle of acceptance. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control her feelings, but you can control how you respond. A Stoic man doesn't measure his worth based on whether or not a woman falls for him. His confidence doesn't waver if things don't progress. Why? Because his sense of self is rooted in who he is, not in someone else's validation. And ironically, this detachment, the ability to walk away with grace if things don't work out, is often what makes him even more attractive. When you're not desperate for an outcome, you give space for authentic feelings to develop. And if they don't, you've saved yourself from forcing something that was never meant to be. So instead of asking, is this love or just a phase? Ask yourself, am I the kind of man who remains grounded regardless of the outcome? Am I forcing something, or am I allowing things to unfold naturally? If this doesn't turn into love, can I walk away with peace and self-respect? Because at the end of the day, love isn't about clinging to potential. It's about recognizing what's real. And a Stoic man knows that if it's real, it will grow without force. And if it's just a phase, he lets it pass without losing his center, knowing that something better is always on the horizon. So, how long does it take for a woman to develop feelings? The truth is, there's no fixed timeline. For some, it's quick. For others, it takes months, and sometimes it never happens. And that's okay. The real question isn't about time, it's about who you are while you wait. Are you the man who stays patient, self-assured, and true to himself? Or do you seek validation, force connections, and let emotions dictate your worth? Attraction might spark interest, but character builds love. A woman isn't drawn to a man just because he's there. She's drawn to the one who's steady, confident, and emotionally secure. The one who doesn't chase, but allows feelings to grow naturally. A Stoic man understands this. He focuses on what he can control, his actions, his mindset, his growth. He trusts that the right connection will come in its own time. So instead of asking, when will she feel something for me? Ask yourself, am I the kind of man worth feeling something for? Because when you embody that man, calm, grounded, and authentic, the rest takes care of itself. And if it doesn't, you walk away with your peace, knowing that the right person will recognize your value when the time is right. Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.